BDS at NYU. Hello, it's Amy Zaby with the May 6th Friday Red Alert report for the Jerusalem Connection. I'd like to talk to you today about BDS, Boycott, Divest, Sanction, against the State of Israel and by extension the Jewish people on college campuses, but specifically the campus of New York University. I want to summarize an article that was posted in late April by Rabbi Shmuley Botek. You may remember him from the famed Learning Channel show called Shalom in the Home. Rabbi Shmuley is an advocate for family. He's written many books on marriage and family and relationships and community that are helpful to people of any faith. He's also a strong advocate for the State of Israel. While he resides in New York City, his son is currently serving in the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. And he recently reported about activities regarding BDS on the campus of NYU. New York University happens to have the largest Jewish population of any private university in the United States. And yet recently the student union had voted to pass 2 BDS measures on campus. The rabbi here is not writing this article to the people who passed those measures, but instead to the 2 prominent rabbis on campus and the Jewish student leaders and Jewish students alike. He wants to see them take more action to combat these activities, to push back, and to counter the ideas and rhetoric that are being espoused, particularly by the Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, who are often the proponents or the founders of the activities and speakers who come to campuses for the BDS movement. Rabbi Shmuley also noted in his article that the BDS movement is not, how it claims to be, in any way interested in Palestinian rights. If they were, they would include in their protests the nation of Egypt, which routinely destroys homes in the Gaza of Palestinians as they root out terrorists and collapse tunnels that are working their way into the Sinai. Lots of smuggling routes exist there. And yet there is silence when these actions are taken, and I would argue necessary actions are taken by the Egyptian government. Moreover, the surrounding nations of Israel offer no equal rights protections for various Arab groups inside their borders, including Palestinians and refugees. Citizenships, right to vote, freedom of the press, all these things are in some way violated by neighboring nations. Yet inside Israel, all residents have equal rights under the law, and Arab citizens certainly have the right to vote. So that all said, noting that the BDS movement is mum on anything regarding any other issues that the Palestinians suffer from any neighboring nations, this is one point of proof that the BDS movement is solely about targeting the nation of Israel and ultimately removing it from the map and the Jewish presence in the Middle East. So the point of the rabbi's article was to call and challenge in an encouraging way the rabbis at New York University as well as the student groups. But my purpose of discussing this article is that we have to add to that. This is a call out to the Christian students, the atheist students, the Hindus, the Buddhists, any group of students that are clear thinking and logical, where they can recognize the fact that the BDS movement has nothing to do with human rights, but is indeed a hate group at best, and at worst a terrorist group. Therefore, Rabbi Shmuley wanted to make the rabbis and the students understand that they do not need to be afraid about standing up and countering these SJP speakers about the BDS movements they want to propel. Oftentimes Jewish students and rabbis fear that if they speak up, they will be or cause anger from the left of the campus, which is oftentimes the majority. However, it is clear from research across the spectrum of society that people from all sides of the political spectrum, right and left, are finding that and agreeing that the BDS movement is nothing to do with human rights, nothing to do with a left or right agenda, but is in fact a hate group. And therefore, it should not offend anyone from any side of the political spectrum to combat and counter the points they make during speeches or when they call for referendums to vote to boycott or divest or sanction the nation of Israel in some way, whether it's the academic institutions, manufacturing institutions, or the like. My point here is to call out to everybody else. The rabbi is calling out to his people, and I'm calling out to the Christians and everybody else to stand with these rabbis and with these Jewish students at New York University and all the other universities where the SJP and BDS movement referendums at the voting block or speeches being done on campus are clearly and articulated against in counterpoints. And not to be afraid to stand up and make those points. The left and the right, who are clear thinking, will agree with you and will applaud it. Shavua Tov. Have a great week. Shabbat Shalom.